This evening, a major legal victory for former Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers as she wins a $2 million settlement for wrongful arrest amid an ongoing electoral fraud probe. We'll break down the court's decision and what it means for the case moving forward. Next, in a groundbreaking announcement, President Ali unveiled the final model for Silica City, Ghana's first smarter sustainable urban center. Find out how this ambitious project could transform the nation by 2030. Then, police apprehended 4 men after a late-night shooting in Georgetown. We'll have the details on the suspects and the weapons seized in this ongoing investigation. Plus, the International Building Expo kicks off with a major boost for homeowners in Guyana. Learn how thousands of house lots and titles are being distributed as the government pushes towards its ambitious housing goals. And in Venezuela, the government intensifies its crackdown on opposition figures amid ongoing election disputes, raising alarm among human rights groups. Stay with us for these stories and more coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 9th, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Roxanne Myers, former Deputy Chief Elections Officer of the Ghana Elections Commission, GECOM, was awarded $2 million in compensatory damages earlier today, Friday, for wrong arrest in connection with an alleged electoral fraud probe. The decision was handed down by Justice Ramnal, who ruled that Myers' arrest and detention were unlawful, though it did not amount to inhumane treatment. The Ghana Police Force, represented by Attorney General's Chambers, has been ordered to pay $200,000 in legal costs by September 9, 2024. Myers was represented by attorney-at-law Nigel Hughes, who argued that the police lacked reasonable suspicion to justify her arrest. Myers is one of several individuals facing trial for alleged electoral fraud, including current and former GECOM officials and supporters of the People's National Congress reform. The trial, which began on July 29, 2024, has been postponed for 30 days due to the magistrate's illness. On a different note, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali announced the completion of the model for Silica City, Ghana's first smarter sustainable city, during the opening of the International Building Expo 2024. The project aims to address climate change, sea level rise, and the challenges of non-coastal urban growth. The government collaborated with the University of Miami to finalize the comprehensive plan for the city, which is on exhibition at the Expo. Silica City is set to become an eco-friendly, modern urban center with smart homes, sustainable technologies, and amenities like parks, healthcare facilities, and community centers. President Ali emphasized the city's goal to reflect Ghana's spirit and position the country as a leader in sustainable urban development. The city is planned to be realized by 2030 and aims to offer a high quality of life, foster innovation, and offer economic opportunities. Continuing our coverage of the International Building Expo 2024, Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell announced that 1,730 certificates of title and over 2,000 house lots would be distributed during the two-day event. The expo, which aims to promote home ownership, aligns with the government's goal of allocating 50,000 house lots in 5 years. Minister Crowell highlighted the government's achievement of distributing over 34,000 house lots in the past 4 years. He also mentioned ongoing housing developments in new areas across several regions, including the Silica City, and the construction of 600 new homes by year-end to meet growing demands. The government's initiatives, supported by banks and insurance companies offering low interest rates, have made affordable housing more accessible to thousands of Guyanese. The expo also reflects the shift towards sustainable building materials and energy-efficient designs, addressing the need for differently abled and lower-income earners. Stick around when we return. 4 arrested, 3 firearms seized in Georgetown shooting incident, and Essequibo coastal laborer charged with sexual assault of a minor.
good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Police have arrested 4 individuals and seized 3 Glock pistols in connection with an alleged shooting incident that occurred around 11 p.m. on August 6, 2024 at Garnet and Milton Street, Georgetown. The incident involved 41-year-old driver Samora Hadaway, who was accosted by 5 men while waiting to transport a container. The suspects, 2 of whom were armed, allegedly threatened Hadaway and fired several shots before fleeing the scene in a white car. The vehicle was later intercepted on Passenger Road after it sustained damage while trying to escape. The 4 men arrested were 39-year-old Stephen Ramdas of Great Diamond, 30-year-old Patrick Forbes of Wales Housing Scheme, 41-year-old Raji Chandrapal of Better Hope, and Mahesh Budu of Cummins Lodge. None of the men possessed firearm license. The suspect, along with the seized firearms and ammunition, were taken into custody at the Alberton Police Station. Investigation is ongoing. In other news, Saeed Mohammed, a 24-year-old laborer from Afines, Essequibo Coast, has been charged with sexual assault of a child under 16 when he appeared at the Saudi Magistrates Court on Thursday, August 8. Mohammed appeared before Magistrate Tamika Clark, where the charge was read to him. He was granted bail of $250,000 on the condition that he did not interfere with the victim. The incident allegedly occurred on September 19, 2022 in Saudi Essequibo Coast. The case has been adjourned to August 23, 2024 for disclosure of statements. Moving on, in an intelligence-led operation conducted on Thursday at the Bini Upper Berbice River, police discovered 2 12-gauge shotguns without serial numbers and a quantity of marijuana. The operation also led to the seizure of a 40-horsepower Yamaha outboard engine, a 2-horsepower Yamaha outboard engine, and a Samsung cell phone. The police encountered 2 unidentified men acting suspiciously in boats who fled into thick vegetation behind a wooden 2-story structure on the river's eastern bank. A subsequent search of the area led to the discovery of the firearms and narcotics. The seized items were taken to the Mackenzie Police Station for further investigation. No arrests have been made yet, and the investigation is ongoing. Don't go away after the break. Colombia AI Conference, promise and peril seen for new tech in Latin America, and U.S. presidential candidates will face off in September.
Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Authorities in the Dominican Republic are working to identify 14 decomposed bodies found on an abandoned vessel 12 nautical miles off the northern coast. The remains, believed to be from Senegal and Mauritania, based on the nearby documentation, were discovered alongside cell phones, geolocation devices, and 12 packages suspected to contain cocaine or heroin. The National Institute of Forensic Science is analyzing the bodies, while the substance found is being tested by the National Directorate of Drug Control. The vessel likely drifted from West Africa, a perilous route for migrants. Meanwhile, as the dispute between the government and the opposition continues in Venezuela over the election results, the government says it is going after those involved in a coup against Nicolas Maduro. Human rights group says they are concerned about the ongoing detentions, which in most cases occur without arrest warrants. They say they are unprecedented in the country. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
In the past week, Ninochka Barrios has been going from one police station to another, desperately trying to find her daughter, Edney Lopez, who was detained at the airport on election day when she was getting ready to board a flight to Argentina.
I'll do whatever is necessary to try to get her released, what I wouldn't do to see her, even if this means them taking me instead. My daughter did not do anything wrong.
President Nicolás Maduro says security forces are going after those involved in the protests following the elections on July 28. The opposition is convinced fraud was committed. Maduro says over 2,000 people have been detained, accused of plotting against the government, and it calls the operation Knock Knock. On Tuesday, opposition leader Maria Corina Machado's campaign coordinator, Maria Oropesa, managed to film when security agents detained her. Hours earlier, she had posted a video about the government's campaign to crush dissent.
The so-called Operation Knock Knock lacks any kind of legal argument. We are facing a witch hunt by a regime that lost the presidential elections on July 28th against all the people who raised their voices through their votes.
The security services used her video to warn political opponents online about the consequences of challenging the election results. Gonzalo Imiob has been helping the relatives of those detained. He says what is happening in the country is unprecedented.
It is affecting people in some of the poorest areas in the country and affects people that are very young. They are between 21 and 23 years old. Many of them were taken without even participating in the protests.
On Thursday, relatives of those detained held a vigil in Caracas. Many were afraid and did not show up. The government insists it is fighting terrorists who are trying to force Nicolás Maduro out of office. These people say they want to know where their relatives are and want them released. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera.
High-ranking officials from Latin America have met in Colombia to chart the way forward in the region's development of artificial intelligence. They are pushing for a joint position on financing, research, and regulations of the technology. Al Jazeera's Julia Galindo reports.
Latin American governments are looking for the region to take a leading role in the adoption of artificial intelligence, hoping to walk the fine line between capitalizing on its potential for economic growth while protecting the rights and privacy of those most vulnerable to it. The United Nations estimates AI will contribute a 5.4% growth to the region's GDP by 2030. But that is only a third of what's predicted for North America. Lack of public spending in technology, science, and education is hindering that growth.
I invite all of us to change this dynamic right now. We must go from being exclusively users of this technology to being producers of it.
But many in the private sector of AI would argue that governments are playing catch-up to an industry that is already blossoming in the region. Latin America lagged behind internet adoption and the mobile revolution for decades due to very high prices and lack of infrastructure. But now, for those in the AI world here, there's a sense of excitement that this technology may provide a level playing field in this region. High Ventures is a venture capital firm based in Mexico City. They have provided seed money for dozens of AI startups in Latin America in recent years. They range from mental health support platforms to e-commerce applications. Its managing editor thinks this region is uniquely placed to grow exponentially.
And basically we're sitting in this huge pool of data, which is actually the oil of artificial intelligence. So there's a unique opportunity to leverage the data of 500 million people and actually use it for good, for businesses, and for providing better services for our people.
So everyone's ready for tomorrow.
Sensei is trying to do just that, using AI and gather data to optimize companies' abilities to meet their customers' needs. But its co-founder agrees the technology can be a double-edged sword.
I do think that there needs to be some form of global consensus as to, where the limits of these models should be, just to ensure that they're still, it's still technology for humans and not technology for the sake of technology.
Governments and the private sector agree on the need to prioritize the human benefits of AI. The risk here is that in one of the world's most unequal regions, far from reaping the benefits presented by AI, the majority of the population will actually be a victim of its overwhelming reach. Julia Galliano, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
In the United States, the date for the first presidential election debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump has been scheduled. The two candidates will face off in a televised debate in September. Additionally, Trump has suggested holding 2 more debates before Election Day. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump said he has agreed to 3 debates with Democratic opponent Kamala Harris in September, in addition to 1 vice presidential debate. Trump repeatedly mispronounced Harris's first name and disparaged the vice president's intelligence.
She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country.
There was no immediate response from the Harris campaign, but one U.S. TV network announced both Harris and Trump had agreed to debate on September 10th. Meanwhile, Harris and newly chosen running mate Tim Walz held a campaign event in the critical swing state of Michigan.
The true measure of the strength of a leader is not based on who you beat down, it's based on who you lift up.
Amen. Rank and file Democrats appear energized by the Harris-Walz ticket after months of despondency over the prospect of Trump defeating President Joe Biden. Trump's press conference appeared to be an effort to blunt the Harris campaign's momentum. Recent polls show her gaining on Trump in many swing states, and some recent surveys even show her running ahead of him nationwide. Among other misleading statements, Trump exaggerated the number of people who have entered the U.S. without authorization, described inflation as multiple times higher than it is in reality, and mischaracterized Harris's role in border enforcement. He took umbrage when a reporter asked about the large, enthusiastic crowds Harris has been drawing on the campaign trail.
I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me.
Crowd size is a long-time preoccupation of the former president. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Washington.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be out for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.